Hey everybody, it is Mr. George, and tonight is Tuesday, April 14th. Tonight's class, we're going to do two different activities. First one's going to be math assignment. We're going to calculate percentages. So for some of you, this will be a review. For others, this is going to be new. Okay. I do have an example as the first problem, and I'm going to walk you through the first example, and then I actually have all of the answers also done at the end, so you can actually check your answers and see how you did. Second part is going to be a writing assignment. It's going to be responding to questions that I'm going to give you, and then that is the actual assignment that you will submit to me. So you can either share a Google Doc with me, you can write it out and take a picture and send it to me, whatever you want. It's certainly easier if you do a Google Doc and share it with me, because then I can actually just type right in that document and provide feedback and comments exactly where you wrote. So first, let's get into the math for tonight. So these are percentages, and this is in your book on page 190 if you want to use your book. If not, you can just use this file that I've given you. So we're going to do the first one together. Okay, so for each problem, there's a question that's asking what percentage. So remember in class when we talked about percentages, that if you have a pizza and you have 4 slices out of 8, that's half, 1/2. So if you have 8 slices and you have 8 total slices and you're looking at half the pizza, that's 4 out of 8. Half is 1/2, 1 being the numerator, 2 being the denominator. And when you divide 1 by 2, you get 0.5. 0.5 is the decimal. And then when we look at 0.5, if we multiply it by 100, we get 50%. And that's where we move the decimal point 2 places to the right. Okay, so let's look at the first one. So it says, what is 75.7% of 14? So let's just go step by step with that one problem. Okay, so here's the question. What is 75.7% of 14? So step one is we need to take this percentage and we need to make it a decimal. Okay, so we have to take 75.7% needs to be converted or changed to a decimal. We do this by moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. Okay, so 1, 2. So when we do that, 75.7% equals is the same as 0.757. Okay, that's step one. Step two is we take that number, 0.757, and we multiply it by 14. Okay, when you're multiplying two numbers, obviously if you're just doing this on a calculator or on your phone, it doesn't matter. But if you're going to do it the long way, then you should probably put the number with the most number of digits or place values on top. So here is the step. Here's the long way. If you're doing it on a piece of paper, 0.757 multiply by 14. So first we're going to we're going to multiply 4 by 757. So 4 times 7 is 28. There's the 8. We carry the 2. 4 times 5 is 20. Plus 2 is 22. We put the 2 down. We carry the 2. 4 times 7 is 28. Plus 2 is 30. Okay, so 4 multiplied by 757 is 3,028. Now we're going to multiply 10 by 757. So first we put a 0 here because we're going to line this up under here. So 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 7 is 7. 10 times 757 is 7,570. We draw a line, plus sign, and now we just add down. 8, 9, 5, 10. So the answer is 757 multiplied by 14 is 10,598. But now we have to move the decimal point because we didn't multiply it by 757. We multiplied it by 0.757. So it's not even 1. So we know the answer has to be less than 14. Okay? Step 4, now we move the decimal point to the left based on the total number of decimal places to the left of both numbers combined. So for example, for 14, there are none. Okay. For 757, we have 3. We have 1, 2, we have 3 decimal points right here. Okay, so we have to move it over 3 decimal places. So we started with 10,598, and now we go 1, 2, 3. So our answer is 10.598. So your final answer should not have more than 3 digits to the right of the decimal point. If it does, you'll need to round up. And if you're not sure, that's okay. I know we've covered rounding up in a separate lesson. So that gives you the 6 steps to get the answer for the first one. So the answers are down at the bottom. Okay, what I'd like you to do tonight is I'd like you to work on these 12 problems, get your answers. After you get the answers, then I'd like you to pause the video. Once you start this assignment, pause the video, do the math. Afterwards, check your answers and check your work and go through those 6 steps that I went through for this first one, the 75.7% of 14. Okay? Great. So now we're going to look at the second part of tonight, which is the writing assignment. So these are some questions that you may have heard before in class. So these are going to be the questions here. So what I'd like you to do tonight, there are 17 questions. I'd like you to respond to each question with either 1 to 3 complete sentences. So you can do this on a separate document. Again, you can do it on a Google Doc. What I'd like you to focus on is writing using details. And this could be adjectives describing nouns, action verbs, adverbs describing verbs. So I gave you one example here. So for example, what is your favorite meal? So I responded with three sentences, complete sentences. My favorite meal is steak, French fries, and Caesar salad. I really like the steak when we cook it on the grill outside rather than in the oven inside. It's also better when we can eat outside when the weather is warm. Okay, so remember the idea is when we're writing, we want to write in such a way so when the reader is reading what you're writing, they can form a picture in their mind. They can form an image of what it is that you're trying to write about. Now, if there were any one of these 17 that you're not sure, then just skip it. But the goal would be to respond to all 17 with between 1 and 3 complete sentences. And this is how you will improve not only your English, but also your writing and your grammar and your punctuation. Remember, first word of every sentence begins with an uppercase letter. And you want to use punctuation. You want to use commas. When you pause, you want to use a period. When you come to a complete a complete idea, okay, with a sentence, and then you want to start with another uppercase letter to start your second sentence. Okay? Again, if you have any questions during class, during our scheduled class time, I'll be available. You can either email me directly or you can respond to me through Google Voice. All right, good luck.